Hi, I'm Crystal. Today we're going to look at 16 different ways to bind a mini book or a junk journal. This is a high-level overview. In the description box I have linked to longer tutorials by other people on each of these different binding methods. When I got started with this craft, I really wanted an overview that just gave me the options and explained what special tools might be required, and I never did find that video, so I wanted to make one that just gives you an idea of what the options are so that you can match the binding method with your level of interest, time, skill, and supplies so that you can get into making mini books or junk journals. I think they're a lot of fun. There's a lot of great content on YouTube about this, and so I hope this will invite you to dive in. So first we're going to take a look at some methods that only use paper and glue. So we're starting with an accordion book, and an accordion book is basically a really long strip of paper that you build by gluing pieces together. Now I've just put a little tape there to show you the joins, and you can do that in advance or you can build it as you go along, and once you're finished you've obviously got two sides to work on because you've got the front side and you've got the back side. Next we're going to take a look at hinging. So hinging is basically using a paper hinge to attach the pages to the cover of the book and also to attach the pages to one another. The hinges are visible in this version. Next we're going to take a look at an accordion spine. So an accordion spine basically is a paper spine, and you've got the cover and the pages glued to that accordion spine. So the accordion spine looks like this. I've got one just the spine, but there are many variations on this. The next paper and glue only approach is a box fold. Now a box fold just uses a fancy paper fold to give you a little space on the pages. So here's a version that's not joined up yet, and you can see we've got a baby bear, a mama bear, and a papa bear fold, and when you stack those all together you've got a little bit of space between the pages for your embellishments and your decorations on the pages. Now we're going to move into some versions of binding that take some household supplies. So none of this is specialty supplies. It would just be needle and thread, or like a 1/4-inch hole punch like you would find in any office, or an ordinary stapler. So the first method is one that uses the hole punch, and that would be the binder ring. So here you use the hole punch to make the hole, you put the binder ring through the hole, and you've got a book basically. And I really like this method. I've used this one quite a bit. And one of the advantages is that once you've put the binder ring in, you have got a book that even if it's really fat and thick when you get done, will lay absolutely flat. And of course these binder rings come in a variety of sizes. These are 3-inch binder rings, but you can get them in a variety of sizes and colors. Next we're going to take a look at using a stapler. So if you have an ordinary stapler, the reach on that is only 2 3/4 inches, but there are long reach staplers. A lot of offices have them that have a reach of 10.5 to 12 inches, or if you have a stapler that opens up completely flat, then you have no limitation. You just need a flat surface to staple against. A lot of magazines are bound this way. It's really a very sturdy way to bind, but there is a limit on how many pages you can include with this binding method. The next method we're going to look at is tab binding, and for tab binding you want to use some ribbon or some fabric. Paper is really not quite strong enough for this, but you put the ribbon or the fabric in and you alternate to build your pages up into a book. Next we've got the blanket stitch, and this is probably the most common method for junk journalers. You poke 3 holes and you sew in a figure 8 with a knot in the middle to make your signature or your book. You can also use machine stitching, and this is a mini book that I made using machine stitching. You can see the stitches there on the spine, they're visible. And within the book everything is sewn in, including the envelopes. The trick there is to open the envelope to sew and then glue it together once you're finished. So that one was a lot of fun. And then next we're going to take a look at paper bag books. So paper bag book, you use the paper bag folded in half and glued together to build your pages, and you get some nice built-in pockets, and paper bags come in a variety of sizes as well. Or you can build an envelope book, In an envelope book, basically the idea is that the flap folds into the next envelope to build your group of pages, and you get some nice pockets with this method as well. So none of these require any kind of specialty product. Very easy to do with household supplies. The next one is twine binding, and twine binding uses some cord or twine. Now on this one I've gone through some holes in the spine, but you can also wrap it around the outside of the spine, and basically your signatures slip into this piece of string to hold them in place. Now here I've just put some holes through the spine so that the cords don't show on the outside. Here I've got a spine cover that is covering over those cords, but once you get inside the book you can see that I've got the signatures on the cord. It's very sturdy. I've had no problems with this, although I do like elastic cord for this method rather than plain string or twine. It does make it easier to get stuff in and out. Okay, now we're moving on to specialty tools. Now these do require something that you probably don't have lying around. First is disc binding, and you do need a special die or punch to make this special shaped hole, and that's where the disc is inserted. The benefit to this method is that you can take the pages in and out, you can move them around, and as a scrapbooker I really appreciate that. And then we also have a wide variety of journal dies. So this is a journal die by Eileen Hull that facilitates twine binding. It's no different from the twine binding you would build yourself. It just cuts a nice cover and some pages. But there are many die sets for journals. So Eileen Hull has made a range of these for Sizzix. There are also offerings from Anna Griffin, also Art Impressions, and I've also seen quite a few from Tonic Studios. So something to fit every taste and every budget. The next option that we can talk about is using a purchased cover. This is one from Elizabeth Craft Designs, but of course any 3-ring binder or notebook would work equally well, and basically you just need a hole punch. Although of course in this case Elizabeth Craft Designs is happy to sell you dies that make the hole reinforcers and cut the pages and cut shaped pages and all kinds of other stuff. There's no limit to the amount of money you can spend on the specialty dies, that's for sure. And then of course the last option that we have for specialty tools is cinch binding. Now I don't happen to have one of these, but I've seen a bunch of cute projects using cinch binding, and again I have got links in the description box to other creators. So thank you for joining me today.